first off, I mean, why did you feel the need to warn consumers in South Carolina about 23andMe and them potentially selling all of their data to a third party?
Well, first off, South Carolina is already part of a 40-plus state working group dealing with a security breach involving 23andMe that happened over a year and a half ago. And obviously, we were already monitoring that situation and working with other states, but also in light of their filing for bankruptcy a week and a half ago, that was also alarming to us because 23andMe is a biotechnology company that has collected not only your personal data, but biomedical data. This is a company that where you get your saliva kit and you send in, they have a DNA profile. So they have all of your personal identifiable information as well as a DNA profile on you. And so we wanted to make sure consumers in South Carolina were aware that this company was going into bankruptcy and that data could, I'm not saying it has, but it could be sold to a third party. And so we're encouraging consumers who are concerned about this bankruptcy to go to 23andMe and have your information destroyed. You can go to the South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs. You can go to our website and go into the news section on the March 25th press release. We have a link to the 23andMe location on the web where you can actually go and input your information and request that your profile be destroyed and your information be deleted before it could possibly be sold to a third-party app.
And I apologize. I'm going to be muting myself so in the recording it doesn't just randomly show my face. Um, so, you talk about concerns. How big of a concern is this? I mean, what is the potential there if they were to sell a consumer's data to some random company that ends up buying them?
Well, look, the concern could be based on nothing. It could be a very serious concern. We don't know. That the point is that a company that not only has personal identifiable information of the millions of people that have used 23andMe, including the people here in South Carolina, but they also have a DNA profile. So they're going to have access to your medical history. They're going to have access to where you live, other identifying information, that personal information that you might have put in when you applied for that DNA sample that when you sent your saliva sample in. All of that stuff is going to be in your profile. And if you haven't already asked for your saliva sample to be destroyed, it is currently possessed by 23andMe, as well as the results of that DNA test. So again, it's think of it like this. The most intimate aspects of your life are on file with a company that is filing for bankruptcy. Is that something you want that company to have as they go through the bankruptcy process, or would you like that destroyed? I would recommend having your account and profile deleted and have your DNA sample destroyed so that it can't be sent somewhere else.
And, these genetic testing companies are fairly new. It's kind of a new thing. Have you ever seen anything like, I mean, this is kind of uncharted territories, is it not?
For me, it is. I mean, look, people in my family have gone to these genetic testing companies, and everyone likes to see genetically where they come from. I mean, it's all it's baked into, no pun intended, our DNA to want to know about our history for medical purposes, for cultural purposes, for identity purposes. Just knowing your history, where you come from, and members of my family have engaged in that. And so this is a relatively novel kind of company. It's only been around for the last 15 or 20 years. And I know a lot of people who use this. But again, at the end of the day, we want people to be aware of what's going on with this company. This is not a reflection on the company per se and the service that they provided, but understand that you have provided a lot of personally identifiable information. You have provided a DNA profile of yourself, including the actual DNA sample, which they currently have custody over. And you have the ability to have that information deleted and the sample destroyed before this company goes through that bankruptcy process. And so we want to encourage people to basically get your information back before the bankruptcy process goes through. It doesn't hurt you anything to delete it. You can always go to another company if that's something you want to do and do it somewhere else. But 23andMe is going through bankruptcy. That information could be sold to a third party. We don't know who that third party will be, if any at all. So I just wouldn't want that stuff out there in the world if it was me.
And this will be probably the final question. So what can you tell consumers? I mean, you've given some advice. have you, I know I've read in different states that there have been issues with the 23andMe website. And they go to delete their stuff. They've been hearing it in the news, and then they've run into issues with the website. Have you seen that in South Carolina? Have people been coming to you in South Carolina and expressing those problems, or is that something that you haven't seen happening?
Anytime you have a rush for people to go to a website because of an event like the one that's happening with 23andMe, you're obviously going to have issues with the website crashing or it's slowing down and there being technical glitches. That's probably what's going on here. I've heard from members of my staff that that was an issue that they had heard about. I've not heard directly from anyone personally, and we haven't been getting overwhelming calls or anything about it, but that is something I am aware of. Again, it's just kind of like whenever a website opens up with ticket sales to a popular concert or a theme park or something, you may have trouble logging on at first and getting in, but keep at it. Get your information secured, have it destroyed, and then maybe if you want to pursue this with another company, you're free to do so. But I think out of an abundance of caution, my recommendation to the consumers here in South Carolina would be to go to 23andMe and keep going until you can get through, get your data deleted, get your profile deleted, and get your sample destroyed. And that is something that the website will allow you to do once you get through.